What is going on, guys? Welcome to JPal Music. Of course, you can always like and subscribe on the channel if you'd like to, as we have these music conversations. And today, Apple has announced its top 10 list of albums of all time out of the 100. And let's talk about it here, okay? So, kind of interesting. And before going into this, top 10 albums of all time. I've always been on the side of there has to be a compartmentalization when it comes to this. So basically, meaning different genres. I just think it does a disservice to multiple albums in the recognition if you just say, what's the top 10 albums of all time? It's like saying the best movie of all time, which there's so much really good art and amazing art and some of the greatest of all time art that just putting it all in one bucket and saying choose the top 10. I still think that's enough, but I'll continue on. So they say the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill takes the number one spot. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, I would say, is one of the greatest albums of all time, in my opinion. Um, with its powerful narrative, really great songs, great music. You really feel the emotion, the passion from the artist. There's it's a pretty fantastic album, and I would definitely say it should be on this list. Now, should it be number one? That's up for debate, right? And that's where there has to be a criteria. What constitutes the number one versus just us emotionally saying this is the best album? What is the criteria for that? How do we break that down? I think breaking it into genres helps with that, but I will continue on for what they got here. Let's see. So I guess we're starting at number 10, Lemonade, Beyonce. This is definitely a great album. I definitely remember the rollout for this. Strangely enough, I mean, not strangely enough, but as far as for the rollout for this, also included her marriage with Jay-Z and Jay-Z cheating. So that sucks. But out of it, hey, you get one of the greatest albums of all time. Uh, Hooray for Toxicity. This is a really good album, though. I I'm just gonna say it. I know there's a lot of Beyonce fans. I don't think it's one of the greatest of all time. I don't think it should be on this list. If I had to pick and choose, and we're throwing the genres out the door, we're choosing what's the top 10 albums of all time. I don't think Lemonade's one of them. Lemonade's an excellent, it's a really great album, near excellent. On this list, I don't know. I'm gonna say no for now. Nevermind by Nirvana. I'm comfortable with this being on the list. Definitely. I think this is definitely a musically life-changing album for a lot of people. Definitely when it came to Kurt Cobain, as far as just, really great lyricist, and the music is great. It smells like Teen Spirit. The classic songs. There's a lot of great songs on that Nevermind album. It's hard to it's hard to take it off that list. So I'll definitely agree with that. Back to Black Amy Winehouse. I know this is a strong album too. I don't know if it should be on the top 10. I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys tell me. Is this one that should be on the list here for greatest of what the one of the top 10 greatest albums of all time? I don't know. Obviously, Amy Winehouse is an amazing artist, amazing singer. Does it deserve to be on that spot? Couldn't tell you. Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. Now, aside from all of the ridiculous beef stuff going on between the Drake and Kendrick stuff, that was just entertainment for me until a lot of people actually got hurt. But Good Kid, Mad City is a classic album. It's a very impressive album. It's an amazing album. Narratively, if you hear the lyrics, it reads like a novel. Um, it's a really great album. And I think it's the only album to stay on the top 200 Billboard since its release, from my understanding. Um, I'm comfortable with this being on the list, actually. And it's kind of crazy to say, but I agree with it. So you got a couple albums for me that should be on here. Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. I've heard people of vast generations, so people that have been a lot older, a lot younger, jazz heads. People mention this album as one of the greatest albums of all time. And this is hard to pull. This is hard to take off the list, right? I think there's something special there, most definitely. This speaks to Stevie Wonder's genius. So definitely there. Blonde Frank Ocean. This is an interesting album because this is one where it had to grow on me. I think it's still growing on me, to be honest with you. And then when I hear some of the songs now, I'm like, wow, that was really good. I think it's definitely one of the best albums that's aged the best over time. Let me know your thoughts about that. I definitely think it's aged over time even better than when it released. So definitely there. Purple Rain, hard to take off the list, you know. I guess the only negative against it, I wouldn't even consider it a negative, this is music from the movie, but this music is incredible and it's one of the greatest. It's damn near the best songs that Prince has made on one album. And it's not a greatest hits album. Sometimes I have to remember this is not a greatest hits. This is actually an album, the Purple Rain album, and it has literally all these songs on here. So, also, side note, Musicology, Prince. Check that album out if you haven't. Really great album. One of his best late works before he passed. Abbey Road, The Beatles. Again, this is probably one that's hard to take off here, right? So, Apple isn't, these aren't bad albums to choose. I just think there's a lot more that people don't know that should be a part of the list, is my point. Abbey Road, The Beatles, again, hard to take off. Thriller, Michael Jackson. I'm one of those nuts that say bad is better than Thriller. Um, even though Thriller obviously is a classic, with Thriller itself, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature. Um, Want to be starting something, which I could probably take. I could probably leave that. The Girl Is Mine. It's a great song. That's probably, I feel like that's the one song that if they took that out, oh, maybe Baby Be Mine. Maybe if they took Baby Be Mine, I would be fine with it. Um, Damn near perfect album. And this one, what was it? What did it win? 6 Grammys? I'm not going to look it up right now, but won multiple Grammys. And then during the Grammy Awards, there's like 56 million people were watching the Grammys, which is crazy to think about compared to now, right? Let's see. And obviously, Miseducation, Lauryn Hill, we went over. Interesting stuff. Also, I'm predicting that we are going to witness another Lauryn Hill album before the end of this generation or before I die. I think it's possible that we're going to hear another album. I think she's working on music. I think she's not saying anything, which makes sense. I think she's working on new music. She's out and about. She's touring. She's doing the performances with her son and whatnot. We might hear another Lauryn Hill album, but we might not because Lauryn Hill, the Miseducation, like we just said, arguably the greatest album of all time, according to Apple. Definitely one of the greatest albums of all time, in my opinion. And I, think it's almost a damn near fact. Definitely one of them. Maybe not top 10, but one of them. Um, yeah. So what do you guys think? What are your guys' favorite albums? Do you guys think it should be broken into genres versus just pulling everything out of one bucket and saying this is the best? That's kind of my notion. Give me your thoughts again, Jerome Powell, J Powell Music. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks a lot.